Kia ora everyone, Lewis here with your national weather forecast as we move into the weekend. But first of all, starting here on Friday, looking at the rain and the satellite, we see a big stream of moisture coming in across the country, mainly targeting the west coast of the South Island in terms of heavy rain. There are plenty of watches and warnings in force. We haven't really seen a situation like this in a wee while. A lot of those west coast areas have had below average rainfall for winter, so this is definitely helping them getting their rain up, but it's also falling into the catchments for the hydro lakes in the Canterbury area, so those lakes and rivers will be coming up over the next couple of days. Plenty of strong northwest winds with that as well. So here's the severe weather forecast to go along with that. Plenty of heavy rain warnings and watches, also a few strong wind watches as well. If you want more details on that, head to metservice.com. But we're going to get on with the rest of today. So lots of that moisture making its way onto the South Island, and as we move through the rest of Friday, we'll see that is slowly drifting northwards, and it's going to make its way onto the North Island overnight as we head into Saturday. And we can see there's no real southerly flick behind that, so we're not going to have that cold air intrusions behind. It is kind of remaining a little bit more westerly with more rain coming onto the west coast of the South Island. So here we are Saturday morning, we can see plenty of rain across the North Island. Most of the South Island is starting to clear up, but we do have more rain making its way into the south and west. In terms of temperatures overnight, it's going to be relatively warm, or very warm actually, warmer than average around the North Island. Most of the South Island as well, these are temperatures that are going to be above average for this time of year, but we do still expect to see some low single-digit temperatures as we move into Saturday morning. And looking through the rest of Saturday, we can see that frontal system just moves quite swiftly across the North Island. There will be some heavy rain with that. We can see as we move down into the South Island, that next band of moisture coming into sort of the southern part of the west coast and around into the south as well. But those eastern areas seeing a little bit more clear weather. So zooming into the north here is going to be a quite wet start for most people. In the first half of the day, we'll see some rain. As we move into the second half, we're going to see that move more into those eastern areas, and those western parts are going to start to clear up a little bit. May even see some sunshine in the second half of the day before it gets dark. But we can see a lot of more cloud-free areas as we get towards the end of Saturday. In terms of temperatures, we're going to see some quite warm ones, especially around the Napier Hastings area. We might break that 20-degree barrier again. Those northwesterly winds are going to couple with that warm air coming in from the northwest, so we're going to see that the thermometers start to rise. But high teens around most of those northern areas, Wellington around that 15-degree mark, and it does look like it will be another relatively warm night, especially around Wellington, holding on to a bit of that wind and cloud. Moving down into the South Island, there we go. We can see that moisture kind of packing into the southern west coast, and it does skip around the south coast as well, but we can see these eastern areas are starting to clear up, and they will actually see some quite nice sunshine in the afternoon, not too much in the way of wind. Like I said, it doesn't really have that strong southerly flick that we tend to get as those fronts move across. But we can see a little bit more cloud invading the skies in the last parts of the day, as we do have a bit more moisture starting to approach the southwest of the South Island towards the end of Saturday. So in terms of temperatures, we're going to see some high teens along those eastern areas, stretching up into the northern parts. Will be a little bit chillier on the west coast, just with a little bit more of that onshore wind, a bit more of that cloud, and down around these southern areas, sort of around that mid to low teens temperature. And as we move into Sunday, we can see a next sort of potentially severe weather system moving onto the southwest of the South Island. Most of the North Island is going to be in for a relatively settled day. I'm not going to say perfectly sunny. It does look like there will be some cloud around, but not too much in the way of widespread wind or widespread rain. So that could be the day to get those outdoor chores done, but a little bit more messy around the South Island as we have those weather systems moving on. And this is kind of a little hint of what we're going to see in terms of weather over the next sort of week or two. It does look like we're going to be caught in a sort of westerly regime where weather systems are quite fast moving across the map as sort of typical spring conditions, and we are getting ever closer to spring. That's all from me now. For more information, head to metservice.com.